BASN. Now, I'll just, for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to call it BASN for the entirety of this video. So let's talk about BASN IEM. You might not have seen this BASN being mentioned regularly among the glamorous, or should I say popular IEM, but they have been around for quite a while. And in fact, I have already done a review last year on this BASN Metalon, which I still keep until today. I love it. Okay, it is one of the IM which I use regularly, but did not mention too much. And this year, I had the opportunity to try this another one from BASN, which is an 80 US dollar BASN Mix PD. Now, this BASN Mix PD is kind of a bit special because if you look at the design itself, okay, price at 80 US dollar, you're gonna get the IEM itself here inside, and it comes with this nice looking silver color. Sorry about that. That was Geoff attacking my camera. Are we still online? All right. Okay, Geoff, behave yourself. Okay. Right. Where was I? So BASN silver. Okay, here, and BASN Metalon comes with another type of carrying case, which is black. So what you're going to find inside, of course, other than the IEM itself, inside this box, would be a collection of several ear tips here. And the good thing about BASN is that I really love the way they package things up. You're going to get this 6.3 mm adapter because this cable only comes in 3.5 mm single-ended termination. And a cleaning brush here, some silicone tips, and most importantly, they also included foam tips, which is the one that I really love, which is the one that I have opted to use on this Mix PD for the entirety of my review. Okay, enough of that. So let's just talk a bit more on the construction and the tech behind this BASN Mix PD. And the good thing about it is that this is actually a hybrid IEM, as you can see here, okay? There's one magnetic planar driver and accompanied by a dynamic driver. The impedance rating is slightly higher than most other IM at 31 ohm, and the sensitivity reasonable at 106 dB. So it does indicate that this Mix PD is easy to drive. But let me just clarify this, okay? I will talk a bit more on the driving factor because this is a magnetic planar after all. Let's just talk about the build and the physical aspect of it. Okay, let's just have a look at the driver. I did mention that this is kind of a bit special, and this is indeed special. I think this is the very first time that I have seen an IM with this kind of design. And the most amazing thing about this IM is that it is super light. Yes, crazy lightweight, despite having two driver inside, because I think the construction is like, this is hard resin here, transparent hard resin, and at the front here, despite looking like this, it is actually aluminum CNC machine. So it has that kind of simplicity, yet that kind of elegance, techno elegance, I would say, within the whole design, because you can actually see the driver inside here, both of them clamped together like that. Okay, and it comes in this QDC termination, which is similar to KZ. So remember that I did mention super lightweight because it does impart the kind of comfort which have allowed me to wear this Mix PD for a very prolonged period of hours. And I will show you later how good it is. But let me just show you how I won this Mix PD. Very simple, because this is a foam, so I need to compress it first and put it into my ear. By the way, this is Valkina's cable, and I will explain to you why I am using my own Valkina's cable instead of this cable here. Okay, so attach it like this. All right, and then I just gonna lock in my chin slider, and you would notice here how flush it sits in my ear. And immediately I would say that the seal is good, because that immersion under the water kind of thing, okay, does appear strong, and I can confirm that the seal is good. I have also used this outdoor, okay. And let's just talk back about the form factor and the wear factor. So it is already, as mentioned, very lightweight, ergonomically very well designed as well, this hard resin here, and it is also perhaps one of the thinnest IEM that I have seen so far. Let's just quickly compare it with my favorite here. And most of you probably know that my favorite here is Sivga Nightingale, another magnetic planar. This is pure magnetic planar. It is heavier as well, but it is also thin. And I have openly declared that this is the most comfortable IEM which I have ever tested, okay, so far. And that's one of the reasons that I use this the most. But when I compare them side by side, surprisingly, this Mix PD is even thinner than this Sivga Nightingale. So it does impart that element of comfort which I have found in this Sivga Nightingale on this Mix PD as well. And because it is lighter, it is even more comfortable to be used for prolonged period of hours. Now let's go back into the subject of why I am using my own AAV Valkynas cable here. Okay, as you can see here. Why am I not using this stock cable? I did mention earlier, it does look like a KZ because of QDC thing. And to be honest with you, I just don't like this cable because I think it's kind of like, does not reflect the kind of quality built on the IEM itself. It's just feel kind of a bit cheap. And of course, it comes only in 3.5 mm single-ended. You would notice here, the entirety of my time using this BASN Mix PD, I have been using this favorite dongle of mine, which is Onyx Alpha. And also, I have here with me IBASO DX180, okay? And remember I mentioned earlier, this thing contains magnetic planar inside, on top of having a dynamic driver. Being a magnetic planar, the indication there is that, okay, for people who are familiar with magnetic planar, you know that magnetic planar will scale really well with power. And in order to achieve, okay, the best amount of power delivered to this IEM, of course, I need to run it in 4.4 mm balance. Hence, that's one of the reasons I switched to my own cable here, which is Valkynas 4.4 mm single and balance termination. Okay, now that I am able to use the more powerful part of my dongle here, which is 4.4 mm balance, and also here. Okay, and true indeed, okay, being a magnetic planar, it was already easy to drive, even using my phone. But, okay, on the sound itself, I am hearing something which is a lot more open, a lot more, offer a bit more of authority with the sound itself, now that it has even more power. So my advice is that if you do have this Mix PD with you, I would highly recommend that you change the cable to something which will allow you to use 4.4 mm balance connection so that it can connect to a more powerful source so that you can actually scale up, the potential, the true potential of what that magnetic planar driver inside here can provide. As mentioned earlier, the entirety of my time using this BASN Mix PD was on this Onyx Alpha dongle on the 4.4 mm balance side, and also on this IBASO DX180 on the 4.4 mm balance side using my Valkynas cable here using these foam tips. So what kind of sound which I am getting? I am happy to say that this BASN Mix PD, unlike BASN Metalon, hold on, which one? BASN Metalon here, which I reviewed last year. The main difference between these two is that this is more tuned towards being a bit more neutral sounding rather than a bit more colored behavior of this BASN Metalon. And I will admit, if you love bass, okay, higher amount of bass or even thicker, denser bass responses, especially mid bass, BASN Metalon is the one to go for. But if you need a bit more of dampening, a bit more of moderation, a bit more of tuning towards transparency, less coloration, okay, a bit more of resolution, a bit more of imaging precise, precise kind of imaging, then I would say that just go for BASN Mix PD here, because let me just try to describe this. The good thing about this Mix PD, as noted, I mentioned previously, it is transparent. It is also analytical. But the good thing is that while doing that, being analytical, being good with layering and separation, technically quite competent, okay, it is never offensive. I do not hear any kind of sharp or edginess to the sound itself. The way it resolves, okay, macro detail or even micro detail is just super smooth. The most prominent thing that I am hearing from this Mix PD is how airy it is with the upper frequency and even the lower frequency. So the indication of that is that, what I'm trying to say, if I were to observe, okay, subject this to listening to certain type of classical music or even certain type of, pop music which contains a lot of hi-hat and cymbals, or even rock and metal music, the upper frequency would appear, right, having substantial amount of macro and micro detail, and also on top of that it has ample amount of energy and sparkle to it and air. It is so very airy and smooth. And when it comes to mid-range, you can expect transparency from this mix PD to a point that it is good enough. I was able to use it for monitoring purposes. So I hear no coloration regardless of male or female vocal, contralto, baritone, you name it, soprano even, that picky type of Alison Krauss soprano, it sounds correct. And when it comes to instrument, the attack is smooth. The attack is solid, but never edgy. Again, the keyword here, I do not hear any kind of sharpness to the edge of the sound itself. The layering, the definition of the sound itself is not exactly full-bodied, but the texture is good. If you love big bass, then perhaps you should stick to something like this BASN Metalon or even some other bassier IEM, because this is definitely not for bass head. But if you love mid bass like me, okay, if you love rock and metal music, then this thing has very solid mid bass. It is punchy, it is tidy, it is fast and never overwhelming. And you still have ample amount of sub bass to make things a bit more exciting. Immersion factor. Let's just have a look here. I have used this BASN Mix PD even for gaming, especially for gaming, because one key element is that, remember earlier I did mention it is super comfortable. I was able to wear it for a long period of time. And as you can see here, right, let me just walk you through. While I was playing this Starfield, it is absolutely important for me to be able to hear surround sound so that I know where the enemies are, okay, at the back, at the top, bottom, you name it, all around me. And also at the same time, I want that ambience, the surround sound, the immersion factor, spatial immersion factor, which is very important with this type of game, which is, in this case, I am playing in TPP format, okay? So I would be able to track my enemy, and I would even know where the enemy is shooting me at, okay? So that is definitely something which is quite impressive with this Mix PD. You can use it for gaming. And it doesn't stop there. This Mix PD apparently is also super suitable for watching movie, especially movies that offer Dolby or even spatial surround sound. As you can see here, me and Geoff enjoying our Netflix morning, watching this Blue Samurai, and I must say that it is definitely very immersive. The kind of surround sound, the kind of impact, the kind of sound effect that is offered through that particular movie, or should I say series I am watching, I am just simply enjoying every moment of it. So the more engaging, the more immersive the movie or the series that I am watching, this Mix PD was able to deliver it to the fullest extent. With everything that I have mentioned earlier regarding this Mix PD, this is an impressive IEM, no doubt about it. Not only it is also super comfortable, ergonomically comfortable, I can wear it for literally half a day or even more than that, and it is highly flexible, not just for music, but also for gaming, for monitoring, and even for movie watching. I have no doubt, right, this Mix PD would be able to serve a very good all-rounder IM for anybody. And to reflect that impressive performance, when compared against, for example, like BASN own sibling here, which is the Metalon which I reviewed earlier, this is definitely a better, more well-balanced tuned IM as compared to that. And to reflect that, the score here in my Andy Odovok ranking system, BASN Mix PD respectively scored 61 out of 100. And in comparison, you would notice that BASN Metalon, which is the black one here, scored only 54 out of 100. And you would also notice that the four elements of sound, okay, the first one would be pretty much similar between the two of them, all around 3, but where they differ is that here, in this particular area, which I think that this Mix PD does a bit better with mid-range and also treble. And of course, it also improved on this particular area, which is spatial staging and sound stage. Yes, true indeed, it is not the most resolving, not the most crispy edge kind of IEM resolution, but then again, I am taking into consideration of the overall offering. Okay, I absolutely love something which is resolving but never edgy. It has that great amount of air. Again, I am bringing the subject of air. So when I compare it with the rest of the competition, even with my Sivga Nightingale here, or even Hidis MP145, another two magnetic planar which I love, one of the reasons that I love them so much was that because they are just so very airy and smooth. And I can safely say that this BASN Mix PD ranks alongside those type of magnetic planar, just that it is not as resolving or not as technically competent when it comes to certain aspect of the sound itself. So all in all, highly recommended.